Hi guys, welcome to another Tech Minds video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the new Vero NR-N7500. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you would have seen a sneak preview of what this exciting new product looks like. So what is it? Well, it's a dual band mobile radio covering from 136 MHz up to 174 MHz and then 400 MHz up to 470. So this radio easily covers 2 meters and 70 centimeter ham radio bands. Now the output power on VHF has a maximum of 50 watts and on UHF it has a maximum power of 40 watts. Now this is something that we usually see on most dual band mobile radios. Now each of the memories can store a power level which consists of low, medium and high. Now the great thing about this radio is that it's purely controlled by an app. This is a free download which you can install on your Android or iOS device, and as of the time of creating this video, the Android version has full functionality, whereas the iOS version is extremely limited. I'll show you these apps later on in the video, however I have been informed that an iOS app update is planned for November, so let's hope we get the same functionality as the Android version on the new iOS update. Now the radio itself has an extremely solid feel. It's pretty much all metal apart from the front display. The front display consists of 3 LED indicators for power, TX and RX. And we also have an RJ45 style connector for the speaker mic and a single push button for turning the radio on and off. Now the radio can also be turned on and off by using the app. Now the power button also doubles up as a Bluetooth pairing feature simply by tapping it twice. I'll talk more about that a bit later on when we look at the software. Talking of Bluetooth, this is how your mobile device will communicate with the radio. Not only does the N7500 allow your mobile device to control it via Bluetooth, you can also connect a remote PTT switch, which came in the box with mine, and you can also pair a wireless headset. Now this will be most suitable for users who want to install this on their motorbike. Simply run the app on your mobile device mounted on your handlebars, pair the remote PTT which you can also then attach to your handlebars, and then you can pair your Bluetooth enabled helmet to the radio. Now the install is also extremely simple if installing into a motor vehicle. You could potentially install the radio unit in your boot and then just have one single RJ45 cable running from the radio to the driving area. This is for your speaker mic. The radio is then controlled obviously by your mobile device, and strapping the remote PTT around your gear stick would make it easy to use. Now as mentioned before, the microphone is actually a speaker mic, but you could pair the radio to your in-car sound system and use your normal hands-free system which you would normally use for telephone calls. This means that you don't actually need to run any cables at all from the radio unit to the driving area. Now if you have an Android based car stereo system, that's even better. You can just run the app on your stereo system and the app will work perfectly well there and also synced by Bluetooth to the radio. So the first thing we're going to need to do is download the actual software. Now there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can go straight to the website which is on the quick operating guide, or you can also scan the barcode which is on the quick operating guide. For this I'm just going to visit the website directly and download the APK from their website. I'll leave a link down in the description where you can get this from, but this link is also provided on the manual. Now all you need to do is just click this blue button here and it will actually download the file. Okay, so I'm just going to click open and it will show us the downloaded files where the APK is stored. Now you need to watch this because as I double click this or open it, it says it cannot open the file. Now the reason for this and what I found is actually for some reason Android 9 doesn't seem to like the file name. So I'm just going to close this and I'm going to go back to files. I'm going to go to apps. And then here. Now if I try doing it again from here, it'll come up with this extract message. You don't need this, so click cancel and I'm going to rename this and we're going to call it radio. You can call it whatever you want, but I'll call mine radio. And now if I just click it again, this will then allow it to install. So once it's installed, you can just click open and it will open the app straight away. Now just make sure that you've got Bluetooth enabled click allow on these permissions. So it goes straight into scanning and trying to find the radio. Now you need to put the N7500 into discoverable mode, and it's quite easy. With it powered on, all you do is just double tap the power button and you'll see the TX and RX LEDs start flashing, and then you'll see the available device here. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click pair and connect. Just going to allow this. And there we go, it starts reading all of the data from the radio itself. Now as you can see, I've already got a few channels that I've programmed in already here. I've got a couple of repeaters which I've already programmed in. I've got GB3AL, GB3AU, I've got the APRS frequency and also the 2 meter calling frequency. You've got 16 channels here that are selectable, but they are actually organized by regions. So you can in fact create another block of 16. I'm not too sure how many regions you can have, but I would imagine it would be enough for your use. So if you want to start programming, it's best to go ahead and start creating your own regions. To do this, we click on the settings icon here and we select channel and region. Now we've got region 1 already here. I'm just going to click on region 1. And let's call this FM repeaters. So I'm just going to change channel 1 and we're going to change this to GB3AL. Now if you click the little more arrow here, this will display our RX and TX. So the RX is 145.7375 and I've got 145.1375. My CTSS here is 77 Hertz. I'm going to change it to low TX power and I'm going to set the bandwidth to 12.5. Make sure that disable TX and offline is actually set to off. Click the tick box and click save, and that is now saved. Click save again. Not sure what that means. Probably a confirmation about overwriting the region. If we go back to the device itself, FM repeaters. Now while we've got the region selected, we can easily edit one of these buttons. You've got 16 to choose from, so I can easily change, say, the position number 2. And what we do is we hold your finger on it and click edit channel. And let's call this GB3AU. So the RX is 433.175. The TX 434.775. Obviously this is just specific for this repeater. I've got 82.5 Hertz here. Low power. Make sure these are off. Click save and then save. And there we have GB3AU and GB3AL. So I'm just going to go back to my region manager. I'm going to create a new region. And this could be something like PMR. So for this region entitled PMR, let's just do programming a couple of channels. RX frequency is 44.00625. And the same for 446.00625. Put that down to low. Click save. And then save here. Let's try channel 2. 446.01875. Low, make sure those. We can also allow scan, save. And just go back to the channel 1 to make sure that I allowed scan. There we go. And then click save for your new region. And there you can see we now have 2 different regions. I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to call this one Simplex. And we're going to call this one 2 meter APRS. And we've got 144.800. 144.800. Pop the power to low. And then I'm going to click save. Oh, change that bandwidth back to 12.5. So let's try a different region. Let's go to FM repeaters. There we go. And then change it to another region, PMR. Channel 1. Channel 2. Obviously you can populate these all the way up to 16 per region. Let's just key the mic and see if it opens. Now the general device settings within the app is quite comprehensive. There's actually quite a few different things that you can choose and set up. So obviously you've got your main volume control, you've even got a squelch level control, device speaker where the audio is outputted to. We also have things like general settings. We have the TX timeout, which is great if you want to limit the amount of time that you can be keyed up for an over. We also have microphone gain, wireless mic gain. Now that's great because that indicates that what we can do is actually connect this up to a Bluetooth headset, which I think is really great. In fact, I do know that one of my subscribers already has one of these units installed on their motorbike. So they have an Android device on the handlebars, as it were, in front of them to control the radio, and then they have a Bluetooth headset so they can obviously talk and listen through the radio. And they also have the remote PTT switch, which is absolutely great. You can just obviously attach it to your handlebars, or if you've got this installed in the car, you can actually just wrap it round. It has a Velcro strap on it and you can attach it to the gear stick or around the gear knob or in your car. Now another feature of the N7500 is it does actually have broadcast radio capabilities. By clicking on the little radio icon here at the top, it will actually bring up the radio screen. So if I just click the play button here,
Newbigin by the sea in Northumberland.
Oh, how lovely. Is it lovely there?
this allows us to listen to broadcast band. So while you've been looking at this, while I've been programming it, you may have noticed that behind it is a map. Now if I just click over here on the map itself, this brings a map and shows your location. So what can we do with this? Well, it actually has APRS decoding and encoding built into the software. Also, one other little feature which is pretty cool is while you're on this particular screen, you will notice you've got a green microphone button down the bottom. If you enable the speaker here at the top, just click on it, and if you hold your finger on the microphone, so what this does, it allows you to listen and talk to the radio through your device. I think that's a pretty cool feature. So as mentioned before, this has APRS facility. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this onto an APRS frequency. Simplex. Leave it on 2 meters. APRS. And we just need to do some configuration. So I'm just going to put in my call sign here. I'm going to set this at 15. going to select my server. I'm in Europe. And we can do radio to internet messages. We can do internet to radio messages. We can also receive messages via the internet. We can also share our location, which is great. I'm going to put this down to something like a minute, I think. We can also change our icon, our APRS icon. Going to be a car. Going to send my power voltage and also my operating frequency in the beacon message, and I'm just going to put in here N7500 so I know that it's coming from that. Time to live, I'm going to leave that as 2. I'm just going to change this to 1. Okay, everything looks good here. Come back out. Come back out. Click the messages icon here. And now we can start to see some APRS messages. And these have been decoded and displayed quite nicely for you to see. You can also still talk here, which is quite good. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to talk on the APRS frequency. What you can also do is click on the map tab. And as we come out and zoom out, it will start plotting any of the messages that it's received onto a map. You can actually click on an icon. And if you wanted to, you can send a message, you can follow, or even plan a route to their location. Now, one of the other cool features that you can do with this particular app and this radio is you can actually record the voice messages that come in. So anytime that the radio receiver is receiving audio, it will record it and put it in this kind of message format here. You can just tap on it to replay that message. If you want to turn that feature off, you can just tick off this where it says Save Voice History, and it will no longer record. You can also clear all of these by clicking Clear History. So the software that we've been looking at here has been on an Android device, obviously using the Android version of this app. Now the Android version does have pretty much all of the features like APRS, the mapping, voice recording, and also able to talk to the radio from your device. Let's go ahead and have a look at the iOS version, and just we can see easily the limitations of the current iOS version. So as before, put your N7500 in pair mode and then start the app. You're then able to tap it and you're presented with this screen. As you can see here, it's actually just pulled up the region that I set up previously on the Android version for the 2-meter simplex channels. There doesn't appear to be any way on the iOS version to change regions, which is quite bizarre really at the moment. Hopefully then in November we'll get that iOS update and it's going to have a lot more features. As you can see here, it's pretty much the same. It's quite similar on how you set up the channels. Obviously there's a difference between how Android interface looks and how iOS does, but you've got the features there. Now, as I mentioned before, it doesn't have the APRS mapping, it doesn't have the voice recording, it doesn't have the ability to talk through the app to the radio. The screen that you can see here is pretty much all that you're going to have. So you can have up to 16 channels programmed, and then you've got the little green bar there that tells you which channel that you're on, and it also shows the frequency. There are some other settings in the settings menus you can see here. One of the topics that I didn't mention before is device speaker. You've got single channel or double channel. When you select double channel, it allows you to monitor 2 frequencies at the same time. Now obviously, while this is paired to your device, you can still go ahead and use the remote PTT and also pair it to a wireless headset, or you could possibly pair it to your car stereo's Bluetooth hands-free system. So I think overall, I think this N7500 UHF and VHF dual band transceiver controlled by an app is actually pretty good. I think I'm definitely going to be installing this into my car and giving it a good try on air as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. This is quite an exciting new product. I'm an iOS and Android developer, so things like this really do interest me. Now at the time of creating this video, you can pick one of these up for just under $200 US dollars. I'll leave a link down in the description to the manufacturer's website where you can go and order one for yourself. Anyhow, I just want to say a massive shout out to my current patrons. If you want to get involved, go to patreon.com/techminds, and don't forget you can also follow me on Twitter. I'll leave my handle down in the description below. Right guys, until the next video, you take care and I'll see you in the next one.